This is the Itel S24 and it's the cheapest smartphone to get in 2024 so far. Spoiler alert, it costs about $100 and for that price you get a 90Hz display, a new average performing chip called the MediaTek Helio G91 Ultra, 18W quick charging, as well as a 108MP camera. And there are two main things which make this phone better than pretty much any other budget phone in 2024, and they are pretty insane. So starting off with the unboxing experience, this is another reason why I still fancy budget smartphones, as you basically get everything in the package. Apart from the phone which you find on top, you get a protective case, a SIM ejector tool, a USB-C cable and a fast charging brick. I'm quite surprised that they didn't leave us a pair of earphones, but don't be upset, use that chance to get some earbuds. On to design, I can confidently say that this is the best designed Itel phone I've ever seen. So basically this phone comes in three colors: starry black, coastline blue and dawn white. And the white color variant is the only one out of the three which actually changes color to pink when exposed to sunlight via photochromic technology. It's a neat feature which debuted on the Itel S23, which is pretty cool. I don't expect myself to ever use this variant, as pink is meant for the ladies, if you know what I mean. And even when you peek into that red panel, you see a very glittery aesthetic which Itel calls the innovative 3D magnetic particle, whatever the hell that means. It's a glossy finish which I don't personally like, but it doesn't attract fingerprint smudges at all, which I think is the ideal solution if the glossy finish wants to remain relevant. Also, the camera mode is just right. It will cause stable wobbling but not to irritating levels. It's a really pretty finish with the aluminum ring around the camera that gives it a touch of elegance. With how thoughtfully executed this design is, not only does it look good, it feels good. And if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel to join our amazing tech family. Ergonomically, you get a SIM slot on the left side of the phone, capable of housing both two SIM cards and a memory card. The right side houses the two volume rockers and a power button, which doubles as a fingerprint scanner, which is quite fast. At the top you get the top firing speaker, whilst at the very bottom you get a headphone jack, a microphone, a USB-C port and the bottom firing speaker. I'm surprised that with this Itel S24, they furthermore improved their feature set. We now get NFC and stereo speakers. I would have loved to say IP splash proof rating, but as I said earlier, this phone doesn't come with it. In terms of the display, nothing really changed since last year, as almost everything is the exact same way. This phone has a HD Plus IPS panel with 90Hz refresh rate and a rather mediocre 480 nits of brightness, which can't be used under direct sunlight. At least 90Hz is a better scrolling experience than what you'd get on a 60Hz panel. And in the settings, you can put it to either 60Hz, 90Hz or automatically switch between the two refresh rates. On the display's appearance, we are getting a hole punch cutout and even slimmer bezels, which I consider a good enough upgrade. If you are not expecting too much, then this display is good enough for content consumption, which the stereo speakers play a large role in. The software is Itel OS 13.5 slapped on Android 13, and I have to say that it's about time Itel finally chose their own path. Itel OS looks exactly like iOS and XOS, and you may be like, it's normal, they are all Tradition Holdings subsidiaries. But I can see that Itel OS 13.5 feels different, like something much more independent. There's still the iViner AI assistant and the dynamic bar feature, which is receiving tons of improvements every now and then, so we can expect things to get better as we move on. But it can't be done on this phone due to a lack of software support. This phone can't get beyond Android 13, period. If Itel finally brings this to us one day, I'll be able to recommend it even over its rivals from Tecno and Infinix. Is it a deal breaker? No, citing the fact that this is an entry level phone. The Itel S24 also has a 5000 mAh battery, which can last for a day, and when we turn to the charging department, we are getting 18W quick charge, which gets this phone from 0 to 50% in just 40 minutes. You might be excited about it, but you also have to be aware that from 50% to full is another story entirely, as it takes more than an hour. So combined, it takes almost 2 hours to go from 0 to 100%, which isn't as exciting. But at least it's an upgrade over the S23's 10W charging. Itel seems to be giving us a lot of value at this price, and these upgrades are definitely ones I'm proud of. And do you know the best part? Is that these are not even what make this phone game changing. If you are aware, and you are surely going to be aware, Itel phones have had a history of being slow, I even made a video explaining the reason for that. It's linked down in the description. But this is the first Itel phone which I consider to be fast. One the Itel S24 is the MediaTek Helio G91 Ultra. Looks like MediaTek are loving these names now. And it's an average performing chip, churning out 270k points on Antutu. This chip, backed up by 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage, means effortless multitasking and RAM management. In terms of gaming, PUBG Mobile as well as Call of Duty Mobile is playable at medium graphics and settings. Don't think there are no flaws, because once in a while you are going to see stutters, but it's not as much as it used to be on previous Itel phones. And the second amazing thing about this phone is its cameras. So there's a 108MP main camera held by an auxiliary lens for depth perception, with an 8MP selfie camera. In terms of photos, this is the best photo output I've ever seen from an Itel phone. As you can see, everything looks amazing from that 108MP sensor. What surprised me about this phone's camera system the most is that the video is in 2K resolution, not only on the rear but also on the front as well. Imagine shooting 2K video with an 8MP selfie camera. So putting it all together, I can say that with this one phone, Itel really managed to wow us. They brought a lot of features which I only thought would be available in a few years time, and even at an amazing price. There are still some things missing like Android 14 or IP splash proof rating, but for the price, this phone is better than possibly any other budget phone I've ever seen. So here's the big question: should you buy it? Well, you better do, because there's no better value. I'm going to be comparing this phone with the Tecno Spark 20 to see whether it can beat out the Tecno smartphone for the first time. So subscribe if you don't want to miss it. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Hilary, this is Harry21, and I'll catch you in the comparison.